Drawing people can sometimes seem to be the most difficult thing to do when you are learning how to draw and how to paint. And it might be that you're really good at some things, but it's kind of like the whole drawing people thing is just too difficult. So in this week's Friday Art, I'm going to show you step by step how to draw people. And from this technique, you can then create your own, and you could create characters for illustrations and that sort of thing, or you could put them into your paintings or into your art journals. My name is Kate Field. Welcome to Friday Art. I'm an artist, teacher and speaker, passionate about helping people find their creative spirit, and then once they found it, to develop it a little bit further. I hope you are well. Welcome if you are new, and welcome back, you lovely, lovely people who have been with me week on week. I release tutorials twice a week on a Monday and a Friday, and on Wednesday I have my Wednesday Wandering podcast where I wander about all sorts of kind of arty type things, a little bit of art history, a little bit of well-being linked with creative living, really. So enough of me waffling on. Let's go. Now, I will frequently use people in my illustrations and in my paintings, and I'm just going to show you a few that I've done over the years, and some I've developed into characters, like this little nativity scene here, and these are in my sketchbook. And as those of you who have watched me for some time will know that I refer back to my sketchbooks time and time again. And here's my little angel, my street angel, looking after a lovely, lovely girl who's kind of got a bit lost, I think. And then I've got some quirky people here, sort of two women, quite sassy. I love experimenting with clothes and trying out different ideas, and all the time there's a kind of a commentary going, a bit of a narrative, and I really love that. I'm just going to show you a few more, because what I really want to emphasize is that each character that you create can have their own story, their own narrative. And I love that. And I'm a great people watcher, and I just like to observe, and and I take a few sneaky photos as well. This is from an illustration that I did quite a while ago about kind of solitude. And I think I've got my couple of Christmas ones in here as well. Yes. So this is the innkeeper. With this little ginger cat, and then I have got the angels. I think that's here. Yes, I decided I'd have the angels having tea in a tea room, because I thought that would be fun as well. I'm not going to show you all of these, but I just want you to have this idea of motion, people in real life, but as a kind of in my own style. So they're not realistic, but they are doing something. And I like my characters to be doing things. So like with this one, just people sitting down, just some boys. I was just observing them, quite a long time ago, actually, I think. I'm just going to look at a few more. I love bus stops. I kind of like observing people at bus stops, and then I'll just change their clothes and just kind of see what happens, really, when we start to turn them into characters and turn them into real people. Train stations, again, great place to people watch. I love these two. The best, I see these as two best friends, just having a nice chat. Oh, and a man and his dog. And this one, there's always a little bit of humour, and I loved the idea that these two characters were wearing the same clothes, and this one is looking at that one. It just made me smile. Again, more girls at the bus stop. So what are you going to need? So you're just going to need a pencil, some paper, and I'm going to use my colouring pencils, my Faber-Castell colouring pencils, but you use whatever you would like. I have put a link to these pencils if you want to check them out. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at proportion. When we think about proportion, this is where people can get a little bit confused, or they they get a little bit scared. But what I want you to do, I want you to get a load of magazines with people in them. Because what we're going to do is to do a little bit of an analysis on proportion. Because most beginners make the head too big. It's very, very common. And the other good thing about using magazines is you're going to get interesting poses. And I'm going to show you how we can use these poses in creating our own original pieces. So let's just go back to this and a bit of proportion. And like I said, most people will make the head too big. And the kind of the standard is that a human body is 8 heads tall. So let's have a look at this one. Just as a little sketch I did a moment ago. That's her head, and that's going to be number 1. Then I've just divided this up, and I'm going to take it right down to her foot. That's her back foot, and the ankle, this foot's coming forward. And you can play around with these, but halfway is going to be just below the waist, kind of at the crotch level or the hips, and then down to the ankle. And then I like to put in my shoulder points as well. But this is your proportion, and let's just have a look at this one as well. And I've put this one, her head to one side, but let's imagine her head is there. Again, it's going to come down to this 8 heads proportion. So we're going to come back to this, but the first thing we're going to do is we are going to cheat a little bit because I want you to practice. So we're going to take, I'm going to take this one because I just quite like the quirky styles of these. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my black marker. Here we go. Because I really do want to show you how you can turn these sorts of characters into your own. Let's just put a circle where her head is. You can see her head's at this lovely quirky angle. Then we've got her shoulders coming here. And then what I want you to imagine, forget her hair at the moment, because that's just going to just confuse you. I'm going to put a V in here. And I'm just going to put a line here. Her arms are going to come down this way, like this. Now you can see where her hands go. The hands are right down by her hips. And then we're going to put her legs in like this, slightly kind of like quirky, and then we're going to put her shoes in. Most people will do arms too short, and that will look very odd. And it's just about kind of how we divide up this space. So what we're going to do with this figure now, I'm just going to put that lid on there. So I'm just going to fold her down like this. And I'm just going to sort of draw on here. I'm just using my pencil really lightly, just putting in those lines that I just did. Putting in that. Just making this almost exactly the same size. So I just moved that there, and that didn't work very well. And in there. So we're just going to draw kind of like a stick figure, really. But think about where that center line goes. And then we build her around it. And I just want you to do lots and lots of doodles. Taking an idea from the magazine. Let's take this one here. Let's take her. Let's put that. See that center line goes right the way down. then she's not going to be kind of wobbling around all over the place. Let's just do that. I'm going to show you another cheat in a moment. Let's just put her there. Again, we're just doing like a stick figure, just to remind ourselves where that proportion is. And don't worry about things going wrong, because all you're doing at this point is doodling. So she's kind of, yeah, she was going to look a bit odd at the moment, but we can build on this. But I want you to get this idea of building up shapes. There we go. This she's lovely, isn't she? Because they say the center line down there, whoop, down there. Her shoulders are at an angle, and then we've got her arms coming up like this, and that one coming up like that, and then her jacket here, and then her legs coming down like that, and then so there's nothing detail at all. All we're doing is playing around, getting this idea of proportion. And don't get too bogged down with details at this point, because it's not going to help you. I'm going to do another little cheat. I'm going to use my carbon paper. You could use tracing paper as well. And what we're going to do, let's choose these ones. I'm just going to take that bit off. I'll put my carbon paper down. And again, no details. I'm just going to put this one here with her shoulders, her neck, arm coming down, top of the trousers this way, and her shoes. We're getting her shape in like this, and this is where all of these little doodles are going to really help you. Let's just do this one here. So I'm just using my carbon paper around there, and next there. So she's face on here, hand like this. Quirky dress. She's got her foot going back like that, and that arm coming down like that. And then we've got her like that. And then we can start to build. We can see that that line goes straight the way down, and we can see these heads working down, 8 heads. Now with fashion illustration, quite often it's 9, because the body is quite often elongated. But this is the idea. I want you to just fill a page with lots of little ideas. Like this one. Again, we can put her head like that. Her shoulders are this way. Arms coming down like that. Where's her spine? So imagine, draw over the magazine, see where her centre of balance is. It's straight on that leg. So that's got to come down. So this leg here has got to be on this plane, otherwise she's going to fall over. So we can put that there, but her body is going to be here. Where's the spine? Down that way, other leg coming out this way. Again, lots and lots of stick figures. We're going to use this same technique with the carbon paper. I've got this figure and I'm going to do her 3 times. So I'm just putting this over to this side. I'm just going to put in her head. I'm not doing very much details. Quite like the fact that she's holding a phone. That's quite nice, or a bag or whatever that is. Let's put her arm in like that. And I am going to put her in a long dress, just like that, putting it around that way. And then she's got her heels here. I'm going to put in where her eyes are and her mouth. Just going to lift that up, and you can see that we've got her there. And obviously With this, I was just doing this bit, so we can put in hair. We can do that later. I want you to see where the eyes are. The eyes are halfway down the head. It's another mistake that beginners will make. The eyes are, and if you look in the mirror, you can see, and I will put in some more hair for that, but I just want to do another one of her. Again, I'm just doing this very, very quickly. I want to have the same image, and then I'm going to show you different ways that you can then adapt what you've already got. Let's just put in, again, eyes. I think this time I'll put in her hair, a bit like that. Got her like this. So very scrappy, very messy, but that's fine. And we could probably fit in another one. So I've got 3. Again, when you're working with carbon paper, you can use the pencil really lightly. All you're doing is getting your proportions, putting those in. So I've got my three very scrappy figures, and now we're going to do something amazing with them. So let's just take this one. I'm going to give her some hair because she looks seriously weird at the moment. I'm going to go in with purple. She's going to this is going to be kind of like a fantasy character. Throwing her hair coming down like this over her face and down her back. And I'm going to imagine that she's wearing a long dress. I'm going to put in, a bit of purple lipstick there. We could put in details a bit later. Right, I'm just going to put in like the back of her dress, long sleeves, so we're not worrying about sort of skin tones or anything like that. I'm just going to put in sleeves. And again, these are just ideas. So this is me playing with an idea. So I do it very, very loose, very scrappy. It's just so important that we allow ourselves to play with an idea and not to just give up if things are looking a bit weird. Okay, you're thinking, no, that's not what I want to do. So this is really, really messy. And that's fine. I'm going to go in with some pink here. Just combining my pencils. I'm not doing any kind of serious blending at all. Like this. Just putting her in like that. Now I'm thinking that let's just put her up. I'm going to put her eyes in like this, but I'm going to, as if she's wearing very, very heavy makeup. And then we are going to just pop in her nose. She's kind of like in one of those strange sci-fi movies or something like that. That could be quite fun. Right, I'm now going to go in with fine liner. I'm just going to come in with just a little bit of detail, just so we start to build up her character. Again, I'm just playing with an idea that I might then develop. And I think it's the kind of the developing of an idea that a lot of people just find really difficult. They feel quite often that if they've put together a drawing, the first drawing they do is the one. And that's just not how it works. It's not how it works at all. So, building up for my other one, I'm just going to have this gorgeous red hair. It's coming around that way as well. And what I'm going to do with her is, again, I'm going to just down with the eyes. I know that the eyes are in the right place. So she's looking this way. Let's just put in like that. So we're just building that idea. And I think we'll go for dress with kind of like 3/4 sleeves, maybe. Like that. And this could be quite a sort of slim dress, and I might kind of think about what else is going on here. Quite like that. You see that shape of her hips. Bringing in that. Very, very scribbly. Very, very loose. Again, no details at this point. Okay, what are we going to do with this one? Let's give her a kind of bob. And again, we can have her as if she's looking down. So her head is down. We can change the angles a little bit. And again, we can start to play around with some shapes and some details. And we can just try out things. Just again, see where that center line is. Don't be afraid of kind of scribbling over what you've done, trying something else, and just having a bit of a play. So they're my 3 characters. I'm going to do something else with them. I like this this center one. I like the angles here and the colours, and so I will do a little bit more on her next time. And of course, another way that we can cheat is by hiding hands. Hands are tricky, and you can again get very kind of bogged down with these sorts of details, but sometimes we can kind of disappear the hands, can't we? Like we can pop them into a little pocket or tuck them underneath a bag, something like that. Or you can just have very simple lines to show where the hands are. So again, putting your hands behind or in a pocket, quite like a pocket actually. So let's have a look at this again. Look how small the heads are. So many errors, or why things don't look quite right, is because the head's too big. I'm going to elongate the neck here. Let's just put in a line for the shoulders. Let's keep it quite soft. I'm just sort of see that line going right down the middle. Head at a slight angle. And just think about where her waist is going to be. Let's just put that in like that, coming out this way. And we can make this as cute or as quirky as we like. I'm going to put arm here. Remember that the elbow is halfway between the shoulder and the wrist. Again, most people will do arms too short. I'm putting in these little dots just so that you can see where the proportion is. I'm going to put her in a little pair of shorts. I think I'm going to put her in a kind of quite a funky pair of shorts. Again, thinking about where that line for her knee is going to be. And let's just have her kind of like kicking her leg back. Like this. Again, you can then fill in the spaces. Think about where her expression's going to be. So, for example, again, we know that the eyes are in the middle. Let's have her looking backwards that way. So head is tilted. I'm going to have her wearing a little hat. Let's have her wearing a little hat. All curly hair and a hat. And then we could just start to dress her. And again, just have some, just play. Oh, I know I say that all the time. I know I do. Let's put a little hat on. But once you really start getting into it, and the more you practice, the better you're going to get. I'm going to put this in a little collar here, I think. Actually, I'm going to make this into a coat. Let's have this as a coat over here with her little shorts. Hands in her pocket, so we don't have to worry about hands. Just going to have some like these pink culottes. And let's give her some orange tights. Like this. And then we can give her some purple shoes. Like that. But you can see we can start to build up a bit of a character here. And this is where it really does start to get fun. Let's just, there's the pocket, hand is in the pocket, don't have to worry about that. Lovely little shorts. See where that knee is. Coming this way. Now she's looking this way, so what is she looking at? I think she's going to be looking at another person. So we can add more to her expression and things like that. So sometimes you do want to have a figure that is full on. So I'm just having a look at this figure here. Think about that line going right the way down. Again, hands behind. So we're not worrying about that. Put in her shoulders. Think about where that middle bit is. Bringing the legs down. And again, putting one foot in front of the other. And I think I might have her, even though she's facing this way, her body is facing this way, we can still have her eyes this way, as if she's looking at her friend. So we could have her like that. Say, just putting putting in an idea. I'm going to move that out of the way now because I don't want to be distracted by that. I'm going to change. So I think we could have the sort of fun thing that they're both wearing the same coat. Let's put her arms down like this. And there's the coat. And she could be wearing the same shorts as well. With her orange tights, one leg in front of the other, and then her purple shoes there. So can you see how you can build up a character quite quickly with just a few lines and not very much detail? Now, I do like to create characters, and I get my inspiration from just people watching, really, looking at just people in my local area and just sort of playing around with ideas. But I wanted to show you some of these because I want to show you that it's really not difficult to create little characters with the facial expressions. And let's have a look at these as well. So these are ones that I did a while ago, and I like the idea of interaction between the people. And again, some faces I do a little bit more detail in, some are a bit more quirky and a bit more stylized, but others I don't put very much detail in at all. Oh, that's not the one I wanted to see. Let's go back to this one. The reason why this looks like she is looking over there is the angle of the head, and with this one, with her nose stuck up in the air. And it's that kind of line that you can really play with to get your characters. So we're going to have a look at this one because she is sitting down. And again, it's finding this kind of angle, seeing where the proportion is and seeing why it works, and having a really good understanding of people in situation. And so I'm just going to do on here. Again, I'm going to put her head on one side because I think that can really make it look good. She's got her hand here. Now, your hand is the same size as your face. If you put it up to your face, you will see. And again, most people will do hands too small. So I'm going to come down here. So I'm going to get her basic shape, line going straight down the middle. Let's just see where we go with this one. Long arm. Again, don't do the arm too short. Just bringing that to the kind of point to her head there. Bringing that down. And then looking at this shape, don't think of them as legs, just think of it as a shape. That way, I'm just going to do one that way, crossing over. Another part of her body there as she puts her hand down underneath, and then her legs coming out like that. So straight away we can see that that's where her hand needs to be there. Again, no details, it's just got her head on one side, she's just sort of having a chat, and put her hair in and bring her in like this. And you can obviously put her in all sorts of clothes, but at the moment she's just like suspended, so she needs to She needs to be on a bench or something like that. And you can just play around, and you can elongate things and you can make things smaller and bigger and try things out as we start to build a character. And we can start to go over with I'm just using my ink pen here. And then I will go over with a bit of colour later. Just have her sitting on there with her jeans on, I think, a t-shirt. Actually, yeah, that will work. Like that. Now you might be thinking that that is just still too complicated and you're just getting very frustrated with it all. So I was going to do a little exercise that I do with my students, and what we're going to do is some long shapes in different colours next to each other. Okay, we're just going to do, and this is just such a fun exercise to do. So they're just sort of long shapes like this, and we're just putting them, I'm just using a combination of different colours. I'm not even thinking about my colours very much actually, because it doesn't matter for this particular one. So they're all about the same sort of size, like this, and they're quite close together, because what we're going to do is to turn these long shapes into a group of women standing at the bus stop. I love it, it's just great fun. It really is. Right, I just need to sharpen my pencil. Very important to keep the pencil sharp. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to add heads like this. I told you it was going to be easy, like that. And then we're going to do some arms, and we're basically just doing little stick arms like this. We're going to do some this way, like that. Then hands by her sides, like that. And then we're just going to do some legs. Again, just as a kind of a stick figures. And I've done this with my A-level students, I've done this with my university students, I've done this so many times. I love it, it's great fun. And straight away we can start to put together these characters. I'm going to go straight in with my fine liner, and I'm just going to give her a hat, and she's going to be looking over this way. I'm just going to do that, just sort of put her little face there. And here they are, just sort of having a chat, standing at the bus stop. So she's looking this way. This head seems to be tilted this way, so I'm going to have her looking that way. They're going to be having a chat, these two. And this one is going to be looking straight ahead. And this one is going to be looking over this way. Can you see, just by changing the direction of the eyes, just sort of putting the eyes in place, you start to develop a little character. Don't worry about the nose, just put a little line in. Yeah, don't worry too much about that. Well, don't worry about anything really. because we're just creating little characters here. Just this sort of group of women at the bus stop having a chat. And you can just sort of add accessories. You could have bags and phones and that kind of thing. But you see, straight away, we're starting to get this idea of character. I'm going to have a nice little kind of hat for this lady here. A little bobble on it. Again, you can just start to add to your characters. I'm going to do a little bit more of that. We might come back to these ones. Now, it is fun to put little characters like this into your art journal. So I've just started sort of doodling some of these characters, and I'm just going to just do a little bit of colour onto them. And just put little sort of expressions. Sit there, just a bit of fun, really. And see if I might develop these some more. But I just wanted to give you an idea, because I say this to my students all the time. I don't want you to copy what I'm doing. I want you to take the idea and then do your own thing with it. That is just, it's just so important that you give yourself that time to develop a skill and a technique. So here's this little one sitting on a bench or something like that, and I'm just doing this on copier paper because I might sort of develop them and pop them into my journal. But again, it's just, and I can't emphasize this enough, really. Just try things out, see what works for you. So I think it is just that, playing with an idea and then seeing where that might go. So all of these little characters could be turned into fairy tale creatures. They could be, again, to illustrate a story, something like that. But again, you just take the idea, see where it might go, without kind of spending too much time on it, and certainly not worrying about it. And you'd make up your own rules. So this little one's going to have a little hat, I think. Put her over this way. Again, I might develop these. See, I've just put her arms crossing over. Just look at what's around you. Take ideas from real life. It's like she's in a pair of wellies. I'll put her in a pair of wellies with some pink tights. And she can have lovely kind of orange hair, I think. Again, just thinking about the character. She's looking a little bit sad, a little bit pensive. So she's in her kind of like roll-up jumper, a little roll-up dress. they start to come. She looks very cheeky, doesn't she? This is a very cheeky little one here. Okay, look, what should we have with this one? I've got her arms folded up. Let's give her some blue hair. Kind of like a little bob, I think. Blue hair in a bob. Like that. And she can be looking down like that. And we'll put her in a little pink dress, I think. That. With some orange tights. And some blue boots. And again, you can put different clothes on your characters. You can get them interacting with each other. But I wanted to have this idea of them all sitting on a bench or something like that. So there's some ideas. Let's go back to that earlier one. So I thought we'd pop back to these three, and I thought they need to be somewhere. So I'm just going to put in as if they're kind of walking down the street, and this is shop windows, and they're just walking down. And I quite liked that one. I thought that would be fun. And then I just started thinking about another idea of a girl with a bag, and I thought I'd show you how I might finish or do a little bit of finishing with this. Obviously just doing lots of scribbly bits with the pencil, and then what I'm going to do is start to put a little bit of blending in, and this is why I do love these pencils so much, because the intensity of the colour is superb, and the blending qualities are really good as well. So I've put in sort of pink, and I'm just putting some purple over the top. So this is her coat. I think underneath she's going to have, I think she's going to have a purple sort of roll neck underneath there. I'm just sort of putting in that like this. And just put that pink lining of the coat there. Again, no details yet. I'll just sort of start to pull that out. Now I'm thinking, what sort of leggings is she going to be wearing? And I'm going to go for some navy blue striped leggings. And again, when we're doing stripes around a body, we've got to get that curve in, so they're not just sort of dead straight lines, because that would not work, it would not look good. So just the contours of her legs, and you can add your own thing. I'd love to know what you're thinking of doing, of how you want to take these ideas with your own characters. Let me know in the comments. And I just sort of let me know what you're thinking, what characters you're going to do, what adventures they're going to have, that kind of thing. I do like stripy tights, actually. Stripy tights are fun, aren't they? I think we just we do purple and blue stripy tights. Again, this is in my sketchbook, so very rarely finish anything in my sketchbook because it's just about generating some ideas. And then of course we've got her bag here, just putting in an idea of what colours might be good. And then this is a kind of a winter feel here, so I'm actually going to put these as gloves. So she's going to be wearing gloves or mittens to keep her nice and warm. Let's just put the bag strap there. She's holding it. Like that. And again, we could put her into some kind of landscape, cityscape. You can start to put together your own narrative. And I might kind of develop her a little bit more over the next few days. I'm kind of gone back to these ones. I think I'm going to create a little story with these 5 women at the bus stop, and I'm going to do a little bit more of her as well. I really hope you enjoyed that tutorial, that you've got lots of ideas of how you can use these techniques in your own art. I would love to know what you think and what you're going to do. Pop a little comment down below, that would be lovely. And if you haven't liked and subscribed yet and you've got this far, that would be good too. And if you'd like to see some more, you could look at this one or this one. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.